We're watching a scene from the dress rehearsal of La Bohème, opening tonight at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. It tells a tragic tale of love torn apart by illness. But the opera might not be the most dramatic story on that stage. Jan Crawford shows us the remarkable journey of one of the players. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So, at 6'5", he's built like a football linebacker. Ryan Speedo Green is hard to miss, but he had a rough childhood and says he was nearly lost before he even became a teenager. But then, against all odds, he found his way out with opera. With that rich, robust voice, a presence commanding the stage. It's easy to see why Ryan Speedo Green, 30 years old, is considered one of the world's most promising stars of opera. Gracing top stages in Europe and the U.S. But his improbable rise to the heights of one of the most elite of all the arts has its roots in poverty and violence. Your father was largely absent.
Yes, he was.
And your mother could be rather abusive.
I wouldn't describe it as abusive. It was a volatile relationship. It was tough. It was really tough.
Green grew up near Norfolk, Virginia, amid chaos and dysfunction. In elementary school, he was sent to a class for the most disruptive students, taught by Betty Hughes.
The first time I met her, I threw my desk at her, and that was how I said hello to her. And this woman, instead of sending me to the office or sending me home to my mom, like most educators would do, she took my chair away and said, "You can learn from the floor since you don't want your desk." She gave me a chance, and she stayed with me and didn't give up on me.
Even when he nearly gave up on himself.
This looks like a nice complex.
Right, so this was a point in Valerie's life, Ryan's mom's life, when she had a steady job and things were looking up.
We traveled to Virginia with New York Times Magazine writer Daniel Bergner. Bergner's book, Sing for Your Life, chronicles Ryan Green's story.
It was here that Ryan threatened his mom's life, probably with a knife. Cops came. He was 12 years old when he was loaded into the back of that car, cuffed, shackled, driven across the state to Virginia's juvenile facility of last resort.
The facility, a tough place for troubled kids, was home for 2 long months.
I was lost, and that's pretty much the best way I can put it. I was lost.
Green often found himself in solitary confinement.
When I got out, I promised myself I'll never end up there again. I started pursuing other forms of entertainment as a child, like joining the Latin club and being in chorus, and I was trying to find outlets so I could stay off the streets.
The big break of Green's childhood came at the prestigious Governor's School for the Arts in Norfolk. Ryan auditioned and was accepted, though he didn't really know what he was getting himself into.
This is Ryan as a 12th grader.
Alan Fisher is head of the school's vocal program.
It was not an exceptional voice back in 9th grade. But over the 4 years, it grew to become an exceptional voice.
At Governor's, Green flourished under a new mentor, a voice teacher named Robert Brown.
For every person who has a dream, they need someone to be their foundation, be the person to kick them in the butt when they need to be kicked in the butt. He taught me not only music, but he was a father figure to me.
Brown took his students to see Carmen at New York's Metropolitan Opera, the title role performed by Denise Graves.
I never thought it was something that a person of color could do. When I left the Met that evening, I told Mr. Brown, I want to sing at the Met someday. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sing at the Met.
And that's exactly what he did. Green threw himself into the study of opera, and after graduate school, entered a national competition at the Met. He won. And tonight he's back, opening in a leading role in La Bohème. Do you ever just stop and think, wow, I can't believe this?
Even arriving a couple of weeks ago in New York to start rehearsals in La Bohème, I woke up in my apartment and sort of pinched myself, thinking like I'm going to go to work at the Metropolitan Opera.
And you're going to continue
Yeah,
pursuing it.
I am. The dream is not finished.
Now, Denise Graves, who obviously was such an inspiration to Green, is scheduled to attend tonight's opening, and so will Green's new wife, Irene. He and Irene got married earlier this year. His mother is planning to attend a later performance. I think that relationship is still a work in progress. But what an incredible journey he's had. Gail?
With such a happy ending. And guess what, Jen? Now I want to go see it. Number one, his speaking voice is so great. And to see where he's gone from A to B all the way to Z, it's a great success story.
I want to go see it too. And Betty Hughes, his first teacher who inspired him, Robert Brown, his voice teacher. For every person that has a dream, they need someone to be their foundation.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah.